So if you're building anything with search today, you're pretty much facing a fundamental trade-off. Over the next few minutes, we're going to break down hybrid search. This is a technique that doesn't just, improve search. It really changes the game. Let's get right into what it is, how it works, and why it should probably be your new default starting point for just about everything.
Honestly, everything you really need to know about the power of hybrid search, it's right here in this one sentence. This is the end of that either-or compromise we've all had to make in search. You don't have to choose anymore. You don't have to pick between finding the exact word a user typed and understanding the idea they were actually looking for. Hybrid search says, hey, why not have both? Right, because for the longest time, search has been this constant balancing act. You could get pinpoint precision, or you could get this broad, fuzzy, contextual understanding. But getting both at the same time? That was incredibly hard. It meant you were always making a compromise between what a user typed and what they actually meant. And this slide just lays out that classic dilemma perfectly. On one side, you've got keyword search. Think of it like a dictionary's index. It's flawless, it's precise. You search for Apple, it finds Apple. But it's super rigid. It's not going to find Fuji or Granny Smith. Then on the other side, you have vector search. This one is more like a thesaurus. It gets the relationships between words. So you search for travel, and it might bring back vacation or journey. The problem? Sometimes it's a little too broad, and it can miss that one critical, specific term you really needed. So that leads to the big question, right? The one that builders have been trying to answer for years. How do you stop making that trade-off? How do you build a search experience that gives you the best parts of both worlds without also getting all of the weaknesses? And here's the answer. Hybrid search. It is such an elegant solution because it just refuses to choose a side. Instead, it really cleverly merges the results from both kinds of search to create a single list that is just way more relevant. Okay, so this is the key thing to get. Hybrid search isn't some totally brand new type of search from the ground up. Nope, it's a method for intelligently combining the results of the two methods we just talked about. It takes the ranked list from the keyword search, it takes the ranked list from the vector search, and it fuses them into one unified and much more useful list. All right, let's pull back the curtain a little bit and see how this combination, this fusion, actually happens. What are the mechanics behind the scenes that really power this best of both worlds approach?
It's actually a beautifully simple four-step process. First, when a user searches, the query gets sent to both the keyword and the vector search engines at the exact same time. Second, each of those engines comes back with its own list of results, each with its own score. Now, step 3, this is where the real magic happens. A fusion algorithm kicks in to combine those scores. And finally, step 4, you get a single re-ranked list that truly represents the best of both. And this is just a brilliant way to think about it. Imagine you're a sound engineer at a mixing board. You've got one fader for keyword precision and another one for semantic context. For some things you're building, you're going to want to crank up the keywords. For others, context is everything. Fusion gives you that control. It lets you tune the mix perfectly for whatever you need. It's pretty clever, right?
Okay, so that's the how. Now for the part that really matters to all of us who are actually building things, the why. Why is this fusion technique so incredibly valuable for the apps we're all creating right now?
Well, the benefits are immediate, and they are huge, especially if you're working with large language models. If you're building a RAG application, that's Retrieval Augmented Generation, this should be your go-to, full stop. And here's why. It solves two massive problems in retrieval. It can find those super specific, rare keywords like product SKUs that vector search just tends to miss, but at the same time, it also understands the user's broader intent. That balance makes the context you feed to your LLM dramatically better, more accurate, and just more reliable.
Look, let's just put a really fine point on this. The single biggest takeaway here is that hybrid search isn't some fancy optimization you add on later if you have time. It should be your starting point. For any new project that involves search, think of this as your new baseline, a foundation that just gives you the best of everything right out of the gate.
So you're sold. You're ready to implement this. What's the one single piece of practical advice you need to get this right in your own projects without getting totally lost in the weeds?
And the advice could not be more straightforward. Start hybrid, then tune with evals. What that means is, just put a hybrid system in place first. Don't stress about getting the mix perfect right away. Then, use evaluation frameworks, which are really just systematic ways to measure your search quality to test your results on your own data. Let the data tell you whether to turn up that keyword precision fader or the semantic context one.
The process is simple. You implement it, you measure how it's doing, and then you tune.
So the question really isn't, should I use keyword or vector search anymore? The real question is, now that you know you can have the best of both worlds, what amazing things are you going to build with it? Thanks for watching.